We thought that tuberculosis had been stopped. But a handful of people would still come down with it a year. This caused doctors to take note as well, the CDC and the WHO. Why were they worried? Tuberculosis was hard to treat until antibiotics became mainstream. The world is still littered with old insane asylums turned TB wards, many of which still stand as reminders of this terror that haunted millions of people. Now that TB has become antibiotic resistant and has been dubbed the new superbug, will we once again see TB wards? Now let me take you, metaphorically, to what is known as the creepiest TB ward in existence. The Ridges in Athens, Ohio. The Ridges is now part of Ohio University. It houses an art museum, auditorium, and classrooms. There is one section that hasn't been renovated, though, the tuberculosis ward. The TB ward, which overlooks one of several cemeteries on the grounds. The cemeteries are also said to be haunted, with one of them rumored to be a meeting place for occult practitioners. One of the cemeteries, with the TB ward in the background. Many of the stones have no names, only numbers. A large number of Civil War veterans have been discovered to be buried here, most likely having suffered from PTSD. The Ridges started out as a psychiatric hospital in 1874. Initially, it was actually revolutionary in mental health treatment, with patients treated like actual human beings. The patients lived in a house-like setting, which the founders believed to be more therapeutic. It worked, as patients showed signs of improvement. This turned out to be the location's downfall. More and more people were admitted to the hospital, often for matters of convenience by their families rather than legitimate mental health issues. This led to overcrowding, which led to the Ridges becoming notorious for inhumane conditions and abuses of patients by the staff. The TB ward is said to be home to several restless spirits of mistreated patients. This could be understandable due to the pain and suffering one would have endured. It's located far away from the other buildings on the grounds, since TB was a highly contagious disease. The second floor is full of small rooms where TB patients were kept in isolation. If you're wondering why someone suffering from tuberculosis was put in a psychiatric hospital, it's because it was easier to just lock them up. Other patients would be admitted for things like menopause, epilepsy, and being a snotty teenager. The TB ward is still in a state of disrepair. It's locked up, but people still manage to get in to take pictures and hunt for ghosts. There are tuberculosis hospitals across the U.S., harkening back to the days when the disease was so rampant it required specialized hospitals. Renovations have not been completed because the whole building is lined with asbestos, which did not help those with respiratory issues. After it was a TB ward, the building housed a nursery school. Talk about creepy. One of the better-known legends of the Ridges is that of Margaret Schilling, a non-tuberculosis patient whose body was found in early 1979. Allegedly, she'd been playing hide-and-seek a year prior with some nurses who got distracted and forgot to look for her. Her body is said to have left a perfect impression, clothes, hair, and all, on the floor that is still visible today. Some old pianos still remain in the building. The Ridges officially closed down in 1993. It was still used as a psychiatric hospital up until that time, though its tuberculosis ward had long been abandoned by then. Today, it still sits boarded up and dark, housing secrets. Now ask yourself, will we once more use TB wards? Stay paranoid, my friends.